The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. Wednesday morning, 60 minutes to go until that opening bell, and we got markets in positive territory. Quite an acceleration to lower prices yesterday. President Trump tweeting out that the stimulus negotiations are over. No stimulus until after the election. Market trades from 34.21. We close out the day at maybe 33.60. Actually traded almost a full 30 points lower at one point. Things looking a little bleak. We got a tweet storm last night, maybe some meal piece stimulus. We'll see how that plays out. But the market trading higher from 33.30. We're a solid 50 S&P points above that level, 33.78. We're only about 40 points off the level when we got that tweet last night, yesterday afternoon, you could say. And realistically, I mean, you're talking about we're at 33.78, folks. That's right back to where we were 26.5 hours ago. I mean, we were even trading as high as within 10 points of that level at 7:30. So you see, we traded higher, we traded lower. We're right back in the mix. And to jump around to what else on terms of the indices, there's your NQs, currently trading 11,363. And again, kind of right back to where we were even middle of the day yesterday for the NASDAQ. Dow up 214 points right now, 27,912. Similar action, right back to where we were early in the day on Tuesday. The Russell up 20 points, 1594, actually above where we were early Tuesday, climbing into that level of higher price. Jumping around to commodities, gold contract backing off a bit. Quite an acceleration from gold yesterday. 1927 down to a low of 1877. You see the volatility back over 1900 briefly, currently trading at 1892. Silver down 12 cents at 23.80, had been as low as 22.96. And jumping over to notes and bonds. Right now, we get the 10-year minus 9 ticks, the 30-year minus 31 ticks. You see where we're at, right near those lows of Tuesday, and we're currently sitting on a 10-year yield of 0.782%. Taking a look at the daily in terms of where we are, quite the acceleration we had on Monday. We got a reprieve briefly yesterday. We're right back near the lows that we've had recently. And when you pull things up, I mean, you're talking about, so we had highs here of 139.22 on multiple occasions. We've now kind of just been bouncing around above and below that number, but we're definitely right near the lower bound that we've had. We're at 138.24. The lows that we had, 138.18. That's on August 28th. 138.24, exactly where we're at on August 27th. You back it up to earlier in August, 138.29 and 138.28. So we're just under that level. And then you got to go all the way back to almost the beginning of July or even June to see where we're at, where you start to get a 10-year yield of about 0.8%. All right, jumping over to the VIX this morning as we get a positive market. The VIX backing off a bit. Quite the spike we had yesterday, up to about 30, not about 30, 30 on the dot. Currently trading at about 28.95 as we have the S&Ps up a solid 25 points right now, and VIX backing off about 50 cents under 29. All right, what else we got going on over here? So, of course, you have President Trump's tweet storm swaying global markets yet again. And to get into some of the tweets exactly, why not? Because number one, first you had last night coming out saying, if I am sent a standalone bill or stimulus, if I am sent a standalone bill for stimulus checks, $1,200 in parentheses, they will go out to our great people immediately. I'm ready to sign it now. Are you listening, Nancy? So pretty much negotiating out in the open there. All I got to add to all of this, folks, is that, unemployment, all this stuff on the day that you have President Trump's Federal Reserve chairman testifying in front of Congress and saying that the risks here are doing way too little and not doing way too much. You have the president coming out and saying no more talks, and you have the president coming out and maybe saying maybe we'll do a piece here and a piece there. The other one that's in there is talking about the House and Senate should immediately approve $25 billion for airline payroll support and $135 billion for Paycheck Protection Program for small business. Both of these fully paid for with the unused funds from the CARES Act. Have this money, I will sign now. So that's about $160 billion left over from the CARES Act. Could go to $25 billion for some of the airlines. 135, he's saying, for the Paycheck Protection Program. But again, in contrast to what's going on with Chairman Powell, the economy, in my opinion, would be much better served by some stimulus right now and not just piecemeals in terms of a $1,200 check and a loan for the airlines. All right, what else we got going on? Jumping around to some of the headlines out there. Let's see what we got. So there's your 1,200 headline. There's a couple that I had in here. All right, I'll find my quote. There's a lot of news this morning, folks. Okay, we'll find it. Let's jump into stocks making moves. So we'll start it off with some earnings. Levi's trading higher. I would not have guessed that one. We did not make a trade in my newsletter yesterday. I was looking at Levi's. If I had, I would not think that jeans was going to be flying off the shelf with people in a more athleisure mode. But nonetheless, Levi's trading higher this morning. Online sales jump offsetting other revenue declines. Sales fell 27% year over year. Its online business surged 52%. It gained market share in key women's apparel category. And we'll pull over their chart. But to get to the numbers, earnings per share, 8 cents versus a loss of 22 expected. Revenue over $1 billion. They were looking for $822 million. That's a big beat in a big way. And the stock is trading higher as a result. There's Levi's from $14.74. You're up about $1.75 on that stock. You're talking about a good solid 12% pop to the upside. For some context on Levi's, you're going to open today at $16.46, coming back to that high from early June, the high $16.97. So you're going to be right up near that level when Levi's opens. And you're almost right back to where you were in terms of $20 pre-COVID levels. All right, they mentioned the airlines in here, of course. Airlines trading higher when you have the president tweeting out that you should just spend $25 billion on those airlines as a result of some of the piecemeal he's talking about, zooming it in on the short term. There's the drop yesterday when stimulus dies, and here's the pop on the news that maybe they will get a piecemeal of $25 billion, hopefully avoid some of the layoffs. You're up about 50 cents an American. Delta Airlines right now, same deal from 31 at the lows almost to 32.22. I mean, you're almost right back to where you were at the beginning of that for Delta in terms of prior to the tweet. I mean, we're trading basically where we're at about 1:45 p.m. Eastern time. Remarkable. But it seems like maybe the potential for airlines. All I'd say, folks, is it's going to be pretty tough here where you have the Federal Reserve Chairman coming out and saying the risk is not doing enough and the economy gets harmed. Businesses fall apart. And you know what? It is. I'm going to find it. Now I remember the part of the article I was talking about. It gets into the elections, and I'm going to break this down even more. But the numbers in terms of the jobs that are being lost in the state of Florida, all right, I'm going to have to find it during the break. We're coming into the break in the next segment, but it talks about 1 in 20 businesses in the state of Florida because of the way Orlando's getting hit, especially. I'll pull it up. There's some cool statistics in this article in terms of swing states, what's going on with the job market in those states in particular. Orlando, one of the hardest hit areas, of course. Disney opening back up, but nowhere near capacity, how that's reverberated around that area. Of course, Florida, a swing state. And we got a vice presidential debate tonight. We're 27 days out from the presidential election. And we're supposed to have, I believe, another presidential debate a week from now. Is the president still going to be testing positive at that point? Is that going to happen? What's going to happen tonight? Stay tuned, folks. I'll be right back in 3 minutes.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&P is positive by 27, NASDAQ positive by 98, Dow positive by 223, and the Russell positive by 21. Green across the board as we climb higher from about 6 o'clock last night. You started to get a tweet there talking about the president. Maybe we get some stimulus for the airlines. Maybe we get something. Maybe there's some optimism that this is a little game theory where you pull it back, you come back piece by piece. I don't know if the Democrats will go for that, folks. You had the president pull out of stimulus talks on the air during market hours in front of everybody. The political battle to go piece by piece, of course, literally saying, I want to send everybody in the country $1,200. How about we do that? Sounds great. I understand the even just the political push for that. But I'd say it's pretty much far out there thinking that that's going to go forward in an expedited fashion. We'll see what happens. Anything's on the board. Jumping back to, speaking of the board, so swing states, as I was mentioning, going through this article that Bloomberg has over here this morning. So this is job losses. So we're talking about swing states here entirely. Every state matters, folks, but breaking down the election, we're 27 days out. We got a vice presidential debate tonight. We got a presidential debate potentially next week. Number 2. Job loss recovery in key states, okay? The white circle here is the jobs lost in March and April. So Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, Florida, higher population states, of course. Florida losing more than a million, is that jobs? Yeah, that's what it's going to be. And Texas, of course, the biggest. Jobs recovered in the dark circles, and you see the gap in many of these states, okay, that we are in. Now, here's where it gets particularly, I mean, they go through some of the numbers. Of course, Disney, in August, Florida's jobless rate was below the national average, okay, even though in late September, they announced they're laying off 6,390 workers at Disney. You also had 2 resorts, big resorts. I've stayed at the Swan, the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Resort, 1,100 jobs laid off. Now, here's the part that it really gets dicey. The Census Bureau survey last month showed 1 in every 20 small businesses in Florida expects to permanently close within the next 6 months, threatening further job losses. And that's consistent with the national average. Folks, 1 in 20 small businesses, a huge growth in this country, as we all know. That is what the stimulus is there to protect, because $25 billion for airlines, and yes, the Paycheck Protection Program, that money would probably help, but it's not going to save 1 in 20 small businesses. We have a vaccine coming down the line. We talked about it yesterday, right? In terms of, I think Tom and I were talking about it, saying when the water spigot turns off completely, you can't just turn it back on. If you leave it there in any capacity, it's much easier to just wind it down, use some stimulus to keep it at least sputtering out some water, sputtering out some form of economic growth, with, in terms of not growth, just economic, keeping those companies alive. It's quite a time we're in, folks. Now, we'll use that to jump over, because these stories are running back to back to each other, talking about a vaccine, okay? Now, talk about making everything political, okay? Here you have the FDA, the head of the FDA, put in by Trump. Folks, it's so important that people feel safe taking this vaccine. It's a real bummer that it's becoming so political, but it's good to see the FDA, what seems like at least, setting up some rules. And the rules are that they want 2 months of data and a board of experts to look at things. That seems like a pretty reasonable thing when you're going to be pushing this out to hundreds of millions potentially of people, tens of millions of people at least. But of course, the president not happy with that. I don't know how you'd be comfortable taking a vaccine being pushed out by any president of any party prior to an election, folks, when they are upset that their own FDA chief was out there saying that we needed 2 months of data. Seems pretty reasonable. I'm glad that they're doing that, because 2 months is not that long, folks. It's going to be here, all right? The election is an arbitrary date. It is literally an arbitrary date. You do this right, you get over the hump, you bring the economy back. Because if this thing ain't safe, and here's how the world works, okay? We all know this stuff. You're going to have anecdotal experiences, whether real or not, when this vaccine comes out, of people posting on social media about their bad experiences. The internet is great for complaining, okay? And there are real situations where this stuff does have side effects. It's going to happen. But it's dicey and scary. Scary is the right word, to think about the implications as these videos start coming out, if people start questioning the safety of this vaccine. It's very important that Americans believe it's safe. I'm glad to see that going on, and hopefully we get over the president's rhetoric on that one. All right, continuing stocks with action today. So Boeing looks like they issued new proposed training procedures. That's one of the final key steps in the jet's return to service. Proposal will be open for public comment until November 2nd before being finalized. Boeing's had some nice action recently, pulling up their stock, of course, yesterday. Not the action you wanted to see with airlines getting hammered. But outside of that, the last few days up until, you went from 145 to 175. If Trump doesn't tweet out the end of stimulus, but you're back to about 163 right now on Boeing shares. So AT&T, this one's interesting. They are going ahead with their auction for DirecTV unit despite lower than expected bids. The first round of bids is said to value the unit at well below $20 billion compared to the $49 billion that it paid by AT&T just 5 years ago. Talk about just burning money. And seriously, DirecTV, I mean, I don't know what their major plan was. I mean, look at AT&T's chart, right? I mean, we're sitting right back where we were, basically 1997 prices. You back it up to when they bought that. What would that have been? 5 years ago, 2015, give or take. You did make it up to 44, but since then, I mean, I guess pre-COVID, you could say that it was making a nice run, but we're sitting at 28.71. Just remarkable. What are you going to do with a company called DirecTV as everyone's cutting the cord and paying $50 billion for that company? DraftKings, a secondary offering by the company, priced at $52 a share. The company closed at $56.78 as of Tuesday. DKNG, and we got to zoom it in because this company's only been public for about 5 months. And there you see the action now. $51.85 as that priced at 52 something, right? $52 a share. So trading just under that price offering. So Netflix, they got a price target raise, $650 a share. There was some other, Molson, they also got best idea, replacing Pepsi at Guggenheim. reiterating a buy. So the company's seltzer products will add 3 to 4%. I was looking this up earlier. I wasn't aware of their seltzer products. Zizzy, I believe, is their seltzer product. Seltzer products, a huge thing for any of these beer companies, alcohol companies. And a couple stories here to wrap up this segment. How about Howard Stern? So this news out yesterday, I was hearing about it. $120 million a year they're going to do probably on their next negotiation. You know, all the talk was last few months, right, that you had Joe Rogan, his podcast, $100 million deal. Well, Howard Stern, he's the king of radio, right? $120 million per year. Now, that includes all of his production costs and his staff salary as well. Staggering number, but the worry was that a company like Spotify was going to come out there and poach him away. So Sirius going to probably get that done. Not completed yet, but that's the news. And SIRI is their symbol. And there you see the pop on the news. We got a little market volatility, but we're higher by about 20 cents on Sirius. I remember when he first went to them. That was a big moment in satellite radio. Stay tuned, folks. We come back after the break, finish up what we have going on.
Back in the day, I joined the Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, BAM! As well as,
whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step-by-step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab. Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&P positive by 27, NASDAQ 104. You got the Dow up 213. What else we got going on? So COVID in the NFL, things getting a little bit serious there with the New England Patriots. They got a third player now testing positive, Stephen Gilmore. He's their top cornerback for COVID-19. No practice for the team. The real situation here is this is now the third player. You had them play on Monday night. These tests came back Tuesday. I don't see how somehow that was probably spread somewhere. Hopefully not in any dramatic fashion. Hopefully maybe not to too many players, you want to say, but geez, you're a cornerback, you're guarding receivers. They're talking about in the den. I got my friends chatting with me as well. It's a tough scenario when you got players testing positive the day after a game. That's after you already had Cam Newton testing positive. The NFL trying to get it done. But geez, we're seeing already, that's week 4 in the NFL. You're supposed to have, 17 weeks, I believe, 16 games plus a bye week for every team. You're only 4 weeks in, and we got a lot of teams here getting hit, whether it was Tennessee, Pittsburgh, fortunately, not being affected, but Tennessee, KC, New England. We'll see how that plays out. But that news breaking, Stephen Gilmore, and just unfortunate, hopefully everyone's all right. It's a serious disease. These are top players, but some of the players in the NFL, some big dudes out there on the line and so forth. So hopefully everyone stays safe. And man, Stephen Gilmore, he is like the top cornerback out there. So that's unfortunate as well. All right, what else we got going on? McDonald's, they're adding bakery items to menu and push for breakfast customers. It's pretty remarkable when you think about some of these companies. I was thinking about the other day. Do you remember when Starbucks didn't even sell hot food? That seems like mind-blowing, right? But it's not that long ago. Maybe it is now. Maybe it is. We should pull it up. But I remember when they were just first incorporating hot food, hot sandwiches, hot beverages, right? And now they just make so much money off that. McDonald's, we're trading at $225.47, up a bit with the market. They're going to be introducing it. And we'll jump over to Starbucks. Why not? Starbucks shares trading at $87.80. We'll put some context there. Basically right back to pre-COVID levels after trading down to about $50. Starbucks hit early on in this, if you remember, because of their exposure to China. All right, folks, should be an interesting Wednesday in the markets. That's the normal. We got some volatility in the markets. It's here to stay with the election 27 days away. Stay tuned for Larry. He's coming.